Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Petty Revenge Reddit video. In our first story, my always late friend made us late for a surprise birthday party, so I needed to prove a point. Let's jump right in. I'm a 22-year-old female. A few years ago, I had a friend, Alex, a 24-year-old female who was always late. She was also the kind of person who would tell you, "I'm on my way," when she was not in fact on her way. That one trait of hers caused me quite a lot of inconvenience. One time we both were invited to a surprise birthday party for our mutual friend. Clearly written on the invitation was something along the lines of, "Be sure to arrive at 6 p.m. Do not be late or you will miss the surprise." Come the day of the party, she and I had agreed to meet at my house and drive over together. Around 5 p.m., I asked her when she would be at my place. She told me she would be there around 5:30, which was great because the party was about 30 minutes away. At 5:30, I called to ask where she was, and she told me she had not even left yet. She then promised that she would be there in 5 minutes. I figured that was okay because she lived fairly close by. Long story short, she ended up getting to my house at 6. I was mad. We left immediately and made it to the party around 6:30. By that time, the surprise had obviously taken place and the party was in full swing. I mentioned to her that I was really bothered that she had been late. Not only that, but she had strung me along and lied to me and prevented me from being on time. She responded by saying things like, "It's not that big of a deal," and "We were only 30 minutes late," and "Don't be so dramatic." At that point, I was sick of her being late and her attitude. Being late, lying, and downplaying someone's feelings are all rude. So I went to a nearby steakhouse and took a gift card without putting any money on it. I wrote $30 on the card and gave it to her a few days later, telling her it was a random gift for being my friend. A few days after that, I got a text from her asking if I was sure I activated the card. I told her yes, I was sure, and asked her why she was asking. She responded by saying she had gone to the restaurant with some friends without her purse and tried to use the gift card, but it wasn't working. It was at that point that I gave myself away by responding with, "Oops, I guess I was wrong, and it's not that big a deal, and you're only $30 short." She immediately picked up on what I was doing, and I proceeded to receive a few very angry texts about how embarrassed she was and how rude and disrespectful I was for doing that. All of this just because I was a few minutes late. Blah, blah, blah. I simply responded with, "So you're saying if I tell you one thing, then do another, and it directly impacts your life in a negative way, that is disrespectful? And if you get mad at me for it and I downplay your feelings, that is rude? Am I understanding you correctly?" She didn't respond. I found out later that none of her friends were willing or able to cover her dinner, so she had to stay about 30 minutes later for her parents to rescue her. We didn't talk much after that. Hopefully, she learned a valuable lesson. I sure had a great time teaching it. Story number 2, it was well worth a $10 ad. I own a staffing company. Last year, I was using a payday app to pay a staffer around $200 for a few gigs. When I tapped her name, I accidentally tapped 2 other staffers' names. I didn't notice it and hit pay, sending money to all 3 people. Then I noticed it and sent them a text asking for it back. One girl laughed at me and sent it right back. I sent her $20 for her trouble and her honesty. The other person never returned my text. This year, I placed an ad for an event and the same thief replied to it. I was dumbfounded, but amazed by the balls on this guy. I quickly placed a dummy ad with a different email account that I use only when I buy things online. He replied and I sold him a story about a gig 90 miles away that would pay nearly twice what my real gig would pay. So, last Friday, he woke up early, got dressed for work, and drove 90 miles and back for no reason at all. Flip you, pal. Story number 3. 2 guys tried to turn me into a bet. I won. So I was dating a guy I met at karaoke. We should call him Ryan. He was good friends with the karaoke host, whom we shall call Jerry. I worked as the only female bouncer at the same bar they ran karaoke. They needed a person that could keep an eye out for trouble in the girls' bathroom because there had been a sexual assault in there before they hired me. Ryan thought that I had the day off, but I came into my work anyway because it was a fun place if you weren't working. Lol. The idiot had brought another girl there for dinner. I sweetly introduced myself to her, asked how long they'd been dating. She said a couple months. I warned her to be careful with him. She asked what I meant. I said, ask him where he was Thursday. If he says anywhere other than inside me, he's a liar. Then I turned and walked out, smiling as I heard her start screaming at him. So I have a very good friend come in from out of town. The guys do not know him, but I've told my friend all about what happened. My friend hung out on the karaoke side during my next shift, where I was working on the dance floor side and bathrooms. My friend was the type that sat quietly in the corner and got ignored, the true fly-on-the-wall type person. So Jerry is giving Ryan crap about getting caught cheating. Ryan says, I'm too smart to be fooled, and Jerry says, correctly, that Ryan was a fool to bring the other girl here. Ryan says, it's not like you could get one over on her if you tried, which led them to making a bet. Ryan would apologize to me and try to win me back, while still sleeping with other girls. Jerry would simply have to try to get me in bed. The first one that could get me in bed without being faithful was the winner of a $50 bet. Real nice. Now normally there's no way in hell I would have ever dated Jerry. I knew he was a skis. Also, no way in hell I'd take Ryan back. But my friend heard the whole thing and told me about their bet, so we hatched a plan. Over the next several weeks, I let both guys wine and dine me. Take me out, buy me nice dinners. I had a lot of Outback and Red Lobster those weeks. Buy me little gifts and flowers. Basically, both of them were in full-on butt-kissing mode, trying to get into my pants but not look too desperate, so I wondered what was up. You'd think that after 2 weeks of me not even kissing them, they'd realize I was onto their BS. So after keeping a notebook of when and where they took me, how much they spent on me, etc., I arranged the next date, back where it all began, our bar. I asked Jerry to meet me there at 10. I asked Ryan to meet me there at 10. I brought my notebook that showed the total of how much money they had spent on me trying to win this stupid bet. Then I told them I knew everything, and they were both my puppets. Jerry had the nerve to try to deny everything. Ryan just laughed and said, "Told you she was smart," and admitted everything. He apologized, and gradually we became friends again over many years, though we never dated again. Jerry to this day swears there was no bet. He just can't admit that I won. This is John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to be the first to know when the next one drops, then subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell so that YouTube will actually show you my videos. I would love for you to drop a like or share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one.